Evan Skinner for the Office of the Attorney General. We're here today on the state's suit for modification of a support order and motion to confirm support arrearage filed September 18th, 2024. Both parents are present, and it's my understanding that they do have several agreements. It's my understanding that they agree that as of the last day of April 2025, Mr. Howard is paid ahead in the amount of $257.17. And then that should carry forward to apply to his future obligation. And I do have an exhibit to prove that up as well. It's my understanding that parties are also agreed that private health insurance is available to Mr. Howard at a cost of $110 per month, and private dental insurance is available to Ms. Kennick at a cost of $46 a month. That Mr. Howard will continue to carry that health insurance for the children, and that Ms. Kennick will continue to carry that dental insurance, and Mr. Howard will reimburse the $46 cost for the dental insurance.
Okay, got it.
As I understand it,
Do you
the
have a
dispute
start date on that or not?
June 1st, 2025.
Okay.
As it's my understanding that the parties' dispute is over what Mr. Howard's gross monthly income should be considered at for the purpose of guideline child support. And so I'll take testimony from both parties as to their positions on that. We do also have a pay stub that I'll submit into evidence.
Okay. Then the state's going to call witnesses in a moment. I don't know who they call first. It's that prerogative. The other person who's not testifying, please remain silent. Don't try to tell me your case in the middle of somebody else. You'll get your full turn. Unless it's a valid legal objection, just write your thoughts down so you don't forget them, but don't interrupt if at all possible. I'll have to stop you if everybody's talking at the same time anyway, because my record will be garbled. So just with that, Mr. Skinner, go ahead and call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll call Desi Howard.
Okay.
Mr. Howard, could you state your full name for the record?
My name is Desi Howard.
And could you state the names and ages of the children in this case?
Children involved is Dylan Howard, he is 16, and Garrett Howard, who's 12.
And Mr. Howard, I read out some agreements just now. Do those accurately reflect what you agreed to, what you agreed to go along with?
They do.
All right. At this time, I'd like to introduce what I've labeled as State's Exhibit 1, which is the pay record. I did email that to the court.
Okay, have the parties both seen it off record here, or do they need to see it on screen?
Yes, parties, I believe I have shown the pay record to both parties off record. I can share my screen if necessary, Your Honor.
If I have it in an email, I'll find it, but you can talk about it till I do that at least.
Your Honor, it does show, and we are going down to the very bottom line here because we are here on May 1st, that as of the end of April 2025, Mr. Howard was paid ahead in the amount of $257.17.
Okay. Then I'll take notice of that.
Now looks accurate to you, Mr. Howard?
Yes, it does.
All right. At this time, I'll first ask Mr. Howard, you're currently, do you send in a pay stub today to the Office of the Attorney General?
I did.
And you believe that pay stub accurately reflects your earnings for the period it covers?
It does.
At this time, I'd like to offer State's Exhibit 2, which has been labeled as the pay stub. And I actually am not specifically aware if parties have both been shown this off record. Mr. Howard, did you and Ms. Kennick, to your knowledge, both have an opportunity to see this pay stub before we get into the hearing?
I did. I don't know if she had an opportunity to see it.
I'll go ahead and share my screen with that exhibit, Your Honor, if that's all right.
That would be all right.
All right, give me 1 second to get that set up. Now, Mr. Howard, is this the document you sent in?
That is.
And I see that it gives a year-to-date income earned of $35,000 $35,030.85,
Correct.
and an income for that pay period of $5,560.98.
Correct.
Based on the year-to-date amount, and you, Mr. Howard, are you paid semi-monthly 2 times a month?
Semi-monthly. That's
All
correct.
right. Based on the year-to-date amount provided in this pay stub, I do calculate that if we were to base gross monthly income on that, it would be $10,009 per month. Mr. Howard, do you believe that $10,009 per month is a fair gross monthly income for the court to find you are capable of making?
For how long? I mean, for that period, or what do you mean?
I mean that are you ask I mean that this pay stub indicates that for the past for the for the period up through April 15th, 2025, you were being paid at a rate that converted to $10,009 per month before tax. Do you feel that this is an amount of money you'll continue to make going forward?
No, I don't feel that's the amount of money I'll continue to make going forward.
Why do you what do you believe will change about your income or about the amount of work you're getting?
Because up until now, I have been able to work some overtime. This pay stub reflects that I was able to work almost 37 hours of overtime. And I know I won't be able to work that. I don't know when I'll be able to work it again, but we have been told through our job that our overtime is going to be cut down because we have had hires. We were short-staffed during this period when I was working those hours, but we have since had hired 13 new employees. So we have been told that our overtime is going to be cut.
Now, do you have an estimate as to what amount of overtime might be available to you in the future?
I don't know. Again, it depends on if we have staff that call out sick or, that some, unexpected things happen, then they'll get staff to come in or staff to stay over and help. But, I don't know the extent of it. Anywhere from 8 to 12 hours would be, I would guess that.
And you paid at a specific rate for the overtime you work?
I'm sorry.
How did they calculate your overtime pay? Is that at a specific rate per hour?
Yes, it is. It's anything past 40 hours is when I get paid overtime.
And what do they pay you for overtime?
It's time and a half.
And what is that rate?
My hourly rate is, I actually called HR. My hourly wait rate is 35.97 an hour.
And anything beyond that is time and a half.
Yes, sir.
Do you have an estimate or a request to the court as to what you think you might be able to make going forward per month, per paycheck, however it comes to mind?
Again, sir, that it all depends. It fluctuates. It depends on the number of residents we have in the juvenile center. If the population is high, then maybe I will be able to get a little overtime. But if it's low, then again, as I mentioned before, they send people home when the population is low. They'll send some of the staff home because they can't justify having so many staff with so few residents.
But you would be unwilling to agree that you would think that you wouldn't think that you couldn't make this amount in the future. You'd be unwilling to agree to child support based on this income.
No, I don't think I will be able to make that, especially since we just recently had new hires and we've been told that our overtime is going to be cut. So no, I don't think I'll be able to make that.
All right, I'll pass the witness, and I don't know if everybody's gotten a good enough look at this exhibit. Is it all right if I stop screen sharing?
No, hold on. I did notice that it is, well, I didn't see the name at the top actually. Do you want to roll, there it is, Desi or Howard.
Yes.
And the pay date was April 30th. However, the pay period is April 1st through April 15th. So you calculated the number of weeks, I guess, and then extrapolated from that, Mr. Skinner.
Yes, Your Honor. He tells me he's paid semi-monthly, and this does appear to be for the first half of April. So I took the year to date and I divided it by 7, multiplied that to get a monthly amount.
Okay, let me ask you real quick, because I see a seal of Texas, but do you work for the state or for the county, or where do you
For the
work?
county. For the county.
Okay, and then how long have you worked there?
22 years.
And it's all been salaried with the county and it's all
Yes,
documentable,
ma'am.
I presume. Do you have
Yes,
any
ma'am.
idea when did you file your taxes already?
I have not. I actually asked for an extension to file them.
Okay, but you've got your W-2 for 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know or do you recall how much it says you made as far as tax
Uh,
income?
let me get it. Can you excuse me 1 second so I can grab that?
Do you have that? Sure.
Make sure you tell them they're not taking out the right amount of taxes. And the population.
I can hear you, Ms. Koenig, if you're talking.
Oh, that's not me. That's
Oh, I'm sorry.
coming from Desi.
Okay. I want to get off the
Okay.
pay record off the screen, but let me ask real quick, the county, are they helping with your pension? Do you have a 401k or anything like that?
I do have a retirement. Yes, ma'am.
And they take money from your paycheck for that?
Yes, ma'am. They do.
Does the county match it too?
They do.
They do, but on your pay check, it only shows your portion of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And there's not any extra other things on there that are considered income. Let's see, just generic things. Okay. And then what's the differential shift pay, I guess? Is that the overtime part or is it something else?
Yes, that's the overtime part.
Okay. Then I think I don't need to see the pay record anymore, Mr. Skinner. You can remove that.
And just so I can confirm for my own peace of mind, I'm no longer sharing any of my screen or anything that's.
As far as I can tell, it's not on my screen, so.
Well, if it's not on your screen, I don't think it's on anybody's. So,
Correct.
all right.
Okay. Mr. Howard, you found your 2024 W-2?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
What does it say as far as those boxes at the top? Right.
It says $100,483 with 54 cents.
And there's sometimes they have a different number for taxable wages and then
Oh, I'm sorry. Taxes withheld. Is that what you're looking for, ma'am?
no, I'm trying to remember. I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't look at those things but once a year. At the top where it has wages and then there's a second number,
It has
wages.
I have Social Security wages and
Yeah.
Medicare wages.
Yes.
Okay, Social Security wages was 108,213 with 54 cents.
Okay. And then the 100,483 is less. Well, what does that show it as?
It says wages. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you speaking to me, ma'am?
Taxable wages? Yeah.
No, it just
Yeah,
says wages,
wages.
tips, or other compensation.
Okay. Then do you have any idea that that's what you've made in the past few years? Or tell me a little bit about last year.
No,
Did that include time or not?
last year it was about $20,000 less.
It was how much?
It was
20,
about 20,000 less. Yes, ma'am.
you mean by last year, 2023, the one before this one, the 2024?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
20,000 less. And so where did that come from? The extra 20,000 in 2024? Was that overtime?
Yes, that's overtime. It's like I was saying, when the population fluctuates. I know during the summertime our population is really low. I know I know the judges like to release a lot of the residents during the summertime. Um, During the school year, it kind of fluctuates. It's high at some points and low at some points. Especially during the holidays, it's low. But
You're at
after the holidays,
you work for the Gardner Betts Juvenile Center?
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so last year was, I mean, 2023 was 20,000 less. You were in the 80,000 range?
It was probably right at 80,000. Yes,
And you
ma'am. It was at 80,000.
and you recall the year before?
No, ma'am.
2022? No.
I don't recall that one.
Have you always had access to overtime, even or in the last?
The access is, yeah, we always have it, but it's like I said, you may be able, some days you may get 8, 10. I mean, some weeks you may get 8, 10 hours a week. Some days you may get, 16 to 20. It depends on the population.
Okay, well, it's a big town and I assume we still have a lot of juveniles that get in trouble, but you've seen a dip this year or?
Yeah, there's definitely a dip. It's like I was saying earlier, there's sometimes when it gets so low, they send some of the employees home because they can't justify having so many staff with so few juveniles.
Okay, before I move on, let me ask Mr. Skinner, did you extrapolate what his annual income would be based on the first 3.5 months? Were you able to do that number? And is it anywhere near what numbers we're talking about?
What I find just extrapolating based on
The
let me
current,
check my math, Your Honor, is
yeah, I'd like to, but I have a tiny little calculator.
coming up
Now you're
with
pretty
a
good into
$120,174. Just extrapolating from the year to date on the paycheck, it's about 120K.
Okay. I haven't
I've
done
never made
that.
that much in my life.
Okay, well, that's why I look at past and then I look at current and then we're projecting future here. Nobody really knows the future, but we at least look at past. And Mr. Skinner, you'd be able to get those numbers off of your resources if I asked you to, or if we had to.
I'm
You
not,
could. Now, I'm not saying we're gonna, I'm just saying you have access to those records as well. If somebody looked them up. If you're a salaried employee in the state, I think you would have access. That's the general rule, but you wouldn't even concede that, Mr. Skinner.
well, yes, ma'am, we have access to certain
Yeah.
things.
Okay, then anything else you want to say on your gross income, which is I guess the only thing I'm trying to sort out today for you. Anything else, Mr. Howard?
No, ma'am.
Can the state tell me what you're proposing then based on whatever you calculated before I go on to Ms. Koenig? And also what the prior order says, I guess you're talking about changed circumstances on a mod.
Um, I know the
Nope,
numbers that
actually,
they. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, Mr. Howard, I think I was directing that to the state because they probably have all that
Oh, okay. I'm
handy
sorry.
already in their orders and all that good stuff.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm just looking at what from our pleadings. I believe the current controlling order is from early 2022, and it orders a child support amount of $909 monthly.
Do
I
you
can.
Do you have the order itself where we have findings? It was a state order, an AG order?
I'm pulling that up. It was a state order, and I'm just double checking that it was the right thing. Um, I'm confirming the child support amount of, pardon me, we're doing this live on the air.
Yes.
$909 a month. Yes, I do see that was the previous order, and that was based on an income finding of monthly resources of $5,633.33.
Is that gross or adjusted net? Which one were you referring to?
Looking at the order, that's gross.
Gross.
Yes.
And we did the math, 5633.33 times 12. That's only 67.6. Do you remember if that's what you were making back in around 2022, Mr. Howard?
What was it? The number, ma'am?
I get 67,599.96. So I'm saying $67,600 roughly.
That sounds about right. Um,
So every year it's gone up a
because
little. Is that?
yeah, because I know in 20. Oh, give me 1 second. Let me look it up. In 20.
Well, I'm looking at 22 to now, whenever that order was, this time period since the last order. If there's changed circumstances, and that's why I'm asking what the last one said, the last order. You have access to your records online and trying to figure something out?
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to look them up now. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, I just want to know what you're doing. That's fine. It might be useful.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be able to look it up, but I don't see it.
You're looking for your tax records or your W-2s or something else?
I was looking for, yeah, my 2022 salary.
Okay. I hope that the state will had that information at the time that did y'all have an agreement back in 2022 when this last order was entered? Do you remember? Was it a court order where I heard it or another judge heard it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
so it
part?
has been court ordered.
It was a contested hearing, Ms. Koenig, you remember that?
We agreed via mediation.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a contested hearing. Okay. Thank
No.
you. I'm just trying to figure it all out. Okay, thank you. Anything else for Mr. Howard, Mr. Skinner?
Yes, Your Honor. Just a couple follow-on questions. Mr. Howard, you read out a couple of numbers to the court, previous income amounts. Did those include did that include money that was deducted for retirement expenses?
For which one, sir?
The numbers you read out to the court that you looked up yourself.
From my W-2, those were the numbers I read out.
Okay, yeah, that included money that was deducted for retirement.
I'm not sure if that includes that or not.
Okay. Just then a couple follow-on questions. Mr. Howard, do you have any other children outside this case that are under the age of 18?
I have one that's under the age of 18
And when is she turning when is that kid turning 18?
in July.
In July. And finally, do you have any objection to your name, phone number, email address, home address being printed in this order, or to Ms. Koenig having that information?
No, I have no objection to it.
All right, that's all for Mr. Howard.
Just to follow up on the 18-year-old in July, are they going to be a graduate this month or they still have another year to go? Or
No, she will be a graduate.
okay, so then she turns 18 and she'll be done with high school. Okay. With the graduation. Okay, thank you. Next witness, Mr. Skinner.
Yes, Your Honor. I will call Casey Koenig. Ms. Koenig, could you state your full name for the record, please?
Yeah, Casey Joe Kennick.
And I read out, and I know it was, a long time ago, but I read out some agreements on the record. Do those reflect things you actually agreed to?
From the last child support order, yes.
No, from the
Current.
going forward, that he's in future pay by about $250. That he's to carry the health insurance at $110 a month cost him, you to carry the dental at $46 a month cost, and him to reimburse for that $46.
Yes.
That's something you all agreed to?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I introduced pay stub to the court. Did you get a chance to see that when it was shared on screen or before in the negotiation?
Yes.
Is your position that the court should use the wages in that pay stub to set Mr. Howard's ongoing child support?
Yes.
Do you believe he's being untruthful, that he's going to be able to get less overtime in the future?
I cannot tell the future. I don't know.
Are you opposed to the court setting his ongoing child support based on an amount lower than the amount shown in the pay stub?
Yes, I am opposed to them going lower than what's in the pay stub. When I pull up his salary has steadily increased since 2007 and 2008. So evidence shows that it will continue to steadily increase, not go down.
And you feel that and you believe that the current order, you believe that he's going to be able to continue making the money shown in the pay stub in the future?
I cannot tell you what the future is. He may get fired tomorrow. I don't know. But what I believe is I think that we need to go according to what the evidence shows.
And do you have any objection to you having your phone number, email address, home address printed in the order, and Mr. Howard having that information?
Oh, no, he has them already.
All right. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Anything else that you didn't get asked, Ms. Koenig, that you feel like you need to tell the court on the record?
No,
Hmm. If I remember right, or you were there, you said at the hearing in 2000, and I guess it was a negotiation conference at the AG's office in 2022 that y'all resolved that issue?
yes, ma'am. I believe it was online also.
Yeah. Do you have any recollection that the 56.33 a month would have resulted in 67 a year at that point?
Yeah, yes, that's correct.
And then after that, you're saying he got more in 2023, more in 2024, more in 20, now more in 2025, just in leaps and
Yes,
bounds?
ma'am. We are both government employees, so his salary is available online, so I can Google his salary. And it has increased since 2022.
Okay, then for my benefit, what do you think it was in 2022, 23, and 24?
In 20, would you like me to, can I share my screen or no?
No, just you're testifying, you tell me from your own.
Okay, so in 2022, his salary was $84,197. In 2021, his salary was $55,618. In 2023, his salary was $91,123. And in 2024, his salary was $108,530.
Okay, but you understand that the W-2 showed that, however, they don't tax on all of it, they take some of it out for taxes. So, and some of it may have been, maybe retirement, you're aware of that, I assume,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And then it doesn't report 2025 yet? It's not that?
No, ma'am. We're still in 2025. It reports after his annual salary. So usually his reporting is posted after January, after his W-2s are released.
Okay. And then this is a question for Mr. Skinner. Your 2025 wages have not been reported for the first quarter yet, since you don't get them.
No, yeah, we don't
sometime
have
this month.
any,
Yeah.
we don't have any information of that sort to put in front of the court right now.
And that's because there's a lag time of at least a month and a half. We're on the cusp right now for the first quarter of 2025. And you don't have them. Okay. Okay, anything else, ma'am, that you need to say?
No, ma'am.
Okay. State, any other witnesses?
No, no other witnesses, Your Honor.
The first thing I need to do is, Mr. Howard, do you want to respond to her testimony or tell me anything else that you think we weren't asked?
Only thing I can say is it's regarding my salary. Like I said, the number she read out is, I get overtime sometimes, and you can tell by the numbers. Like, my 2024 salary was $74,000, but my base salary was $74,000. But because I was able to work overtime, because we had, a lot of juveniles coming in and out, I was able to work overtime. But it's like I've been saying, I will be able to get some overtime, but there's no guarantee that I'm going to be like, I mean, I made $100,000 last year. Who's to say I may even make $78,000 this year? So that was the whole thing. I've said I don't mind paying more, but I don't want to be put in paying just strictly from my overtime when I'm not going to be able to get that overtime.
Well, what are you considering, sir, as far as what you would tell me the results should be?
I could say I could go. I would probably still mess myself up, but I could go 1250 to 1300.
Okay. Okay, anything else you want to say, Mr. Howard?
No, Yana, that's it.
Then, hold on. Okay, Ms. Koenig, you have more testimony. Go ahead.
Yes. He said previously that his salary fluctuates depending on the overtime and population. My child support does not fluctuate. It has not fluctuated since 2002. And you can see that the child support agreement has been just what we agreed in 2002, although his income
Wait,
has,
2002 or 2022? I'm sorry, I want to make
I'm
sure.
sorry, 2022.
Okay, thank you.
My fault. His income has increased significantly. However, my child support has not increased significantly. So while his salary fluctuates, my child support stays the same regardless of what he makes.
Okay, well, you get that court orders here in the state have to be specific. We have
Oh,
the number
I totally
down,
understand
the
that, yes.
snapshot in time. We can't get it perfect. We can have you come in, everybody come in once a month to check the wages and move it up and down that often. The state does
No,
this every 3 years, just so that you're aware. And yeah, if you catch it earlier, you catch it earlier. If you don't, you don't. There's no real way to
no, I
capture
understand
everything
that,
all the time.
but he wants to go off of something that's based that fluctuates, and I don't want to go off something that's based that fluctuates. I want to go off what he's making right now,
Okay,
not what he thinks he's going to make.
and you're asking for how much in child support? I'm not sure that I heard that number.
I'm asking to go off the income that he's made the last quarter of the year, which under my understanding is nine 1,572 for these two, for June and July, and after August 1,747.
Say that again, June and July, 1572, and what?
In August, starting in August, 1,747. That's the calculation that was given to us, according to this last quarter by Miss, I don't remember her name.
Okay, and we're not at the statutory cap, Mr. Skinner, are we? No.
No, Your Honor, we're not at the statutory cap. The net resources aren't over 9,200.
Okay. Then let me go on to the next thing I need to do. Since y'all are here representing yourselves, you're acting as your own lawyers technically, so you have the right of cross-examination. So Ms. Koenig, do you have any questions for Mr. Howard on the contested issue? I don't want to hear all about y'all's past or anything like that. Just what I need to decide. Any questions for him, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
And Mr. Howard, do you have any questions, cross-exam for Ms. Koenig?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then let me have and state you've rested or you don't have any other witnesses or evidence to present.
I just have a closing, Your Honor, and I have the numbers for the year-to-date amount, which are different from what Ms. Koenig had said. I think there's some miscommunication.
Okay.
Absolutely, I'll hear your closing.
Yes, Your Honor. The state is asking to take a judgment of the $257.17 of future pay as of the last day of April, and to go along with the parties' agreements of Mr. Howard to carry the health insurance and to reimburse Ms. Koenig at $46 in dental insurance in dental support for the dental insurance that she carries. It's the state's position that we do have income evidence for Mr. Howard based on what he's currently making right now. That comes out to about $10,009 per month. And the child support guideline amount based on that would be $1,706 monthly for June and July, when Mr. Howard is still receiving the additional child credit, and then from August 1st onward, $1,895 per month until children start emancipating on this case. So that's the state's request. If I can recalculate at a different number if that's the court's ruling, but that's the number I have to hand.
Let me just make sure I understood. The $10,009 a month, as I assume gross, that was your starting figure, Mr. Skinner?
Yes, the gross based on the income that was in the pay stub provided. So what basically the state's calculating it based on what we have hard evidence of.
For the 1 quarter only based, or not even that, for 3.5 months on the one pay stub that he provided for this year.
Yes, Your Honor, we don't have hard, I mean, we don't,
I know,
like,
I
we
know.
can, yeah.
I'm just putting it on the record. That's what you want. 10,009 a month times 12 months. So you're saying his gross would be $120,108. That's what you're basing it on.
Yes.
And then what'd you get for net and then adjusted net? Tell me so I know how you're operating or your math.
I get 7,581 and 24 cents for net. That's after deductions for taxes and for insurance costs. And with adjusted net, I do get $6,823.12.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Net was all the taxes and stuff that's taken out. Adjusted net is after the insurance is taken out, but that's a huge difference. So, or at
No,
least,
Your Honor, net is after taxes and insurance are taken out. Adjusted net is the adjustment to account for the additional child outside the case. At least based on what I'm looking at.
no, you use a percentage amount on his adjusted net. You don't adjust the net to get the
net. Apologies, I get where you're going now. The
Okay.
net figure, what after taxes and insurance are taken out, is $7,581.24.
Okay, and so that is the adjusted net because it includes the insurance deduction.
Yes,
So
and
that's
our system shows something
awesome.
labeled adjusted net, which is after an adjustment for the additional child, and that's
Okay, maybe your new system hopefully will fix that. That's coming soon. But okay, you got where I wanted to go. $7,581.24 is the adjusted net, and the rate of percentage that you applied before that child emancipated was what?
before the child emancipated, it was. Bear with me,
Kids
please.
in and one kid out. 22.5%, maybe. Am I guessing right?
Yes, Your Honor, 22.5%.
So that's 7,581.24 times 0.225. That's where you get the 1705. Then I'm getting that number that you got as well. So you
Yes,
got
that's where I get.
706.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I get 1706, Your Honor.
And then after that, you only did the 20% of 7,581.24.
25%, Your Honor, once the child outside the case emancipates in July.
And that's where you get to 1895. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
I understand your math. That's where I was headed. Okay. However, the state's calculating an income of $120,000, so that's at least a $20,000 increase from last year to now, from 2024 reported wages. The taxable income was 100,000, if I remember right. After what was Social Security is taken out. So you're telling me you want me to base it on 120,000 when the W-2 is recent as December 31st, so last year was roughly 100.
I think the current pay stub we have, and that's in evidence, is the most up-to-date information we have on what he's being paid, and it's the evidence we have. Your Honor, that's my position.
I get that, but you okay, anything else you want to say, Mr. Skinner?
No, Your Honor.
I know Ms. Koenig's position would align with the state, ma'am, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, closing argument, Mr. Howard, why I shouldn't do that?
Simply because, I mean, like she said, like we all know we can't predict the future, but I mean, I can't say that I'm going to work 37 hours, a pay period, because I've already been told I'm not going to get that overtime. So for them to say that I'm going to make that amount and I'm going to work 37 hours, I don't agree with that.
I understand that. So you said per pay period, it wasn't per month? The pay period was 37 overtime hours?
For the pay, yes, ma'am.
Because you get paid twice a month, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I've been around here for a long time. I've seen all sorts of cases, high, low, everything in between. I have never, when there has been a person who has steady employment, which I don't get much of to begin with, but I have never based it on just one quarter when there's a history of income. I can't say, Ms. Koenig, and neither can you, Mr. Skinner, that you're guaranteeing he's gonna make 120,000 this year just because his one page stub of 3.5 months says so. We don't have crystal balls. I know I don't. I don't think any of you do. So I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. Yes, it's more. Yes, it's a lot more than the 2022 rate of what did I get from 2022? In the range of, I don't remember anymore. He makes 67,600 in 2022. So this would be a good 40,000 increase in 3 years. That's not bad. So I'm gonna base it on that W-2 of 100. So can you do some new math for me, Mr.?
Yes,
Skinner?
Your Honor.
$100,483.54 was reported wages for 2024.
That's I'm getting $8,373.63 monthly.
Okay, and then to that, my
Applying the same percentages, that would produce 1,448 guideline child support until the child outside the case emancipates, and 1,608 guideline child support thereafter.
and what was your adjusted net, or not the computer's adjusted net, but your net figure?
$6,433.69.
Okay. And I know you offered a little less, Mr. Howard, but why shouldn't I do what the math is based on last year's reported wages, which doesn't include all the overtime that your current pay stub shows? I presume. Because it would be a
I'm
lot.
sorry, you understand?
Your
I'm sorry.
position on the numbers that the state just calculated based on last year's wages that you actually did make, and I do have evidence of that.
Right.
You'd still like a little less, but is there any legal reason or any persuasive reason you would want me to do that?
I mean, the only reason why I said that was because, again, I'm not guaranteed to get the overtime. And she and he both are going based on assuming that I'm going to work as much overtime as I've been working, which I mean, like I said, I will be able to work some overtime, but the whole facility has been told that their overtime is going to get cut because we've had new hires.
Well, you get that I'm not doing that I'm not basing your.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I get that. I get that, and I appreciate it.
months.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then what I'm gonna do is grant the request for a modification. I'm gonna order a child support of I round things up and down as I see fit, $14.50 a month starting you said June 1st, Mr. Skinner?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then starting August 1st, when you're no longer legally responsible for an adult child out of high school, I will round down to $1,600 a month.
And that's based on a gross monthly finding of $8,373.63.
Yes, sir.
$100,483.54 per year.
I think that's, I have to look at my numbers again, but I think if that's what I told you a minute ago.
Just making sure I heard you right.
Yeah, I know. Except I like to spread my paperwork out and then I can't find what I'm looking for. Let's see. At 100,483.54.
100,483.54. Yes.
Yes, yeah, then you got it right.
Okay.
Okay, that'll be the order of the court. I'll waive court costs on this one. There'll be no non-disclosure findings, and I'll approve the overpay credit, obviously, and the insurance coverage plus the what was it? The dental support payment father makes to mother?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'll grant all of that and I'll render the order, which means it becomes my order. Now, let me tell you this part first. The state's going to draft it. Neither of you have to be happy with it. However, it's my order. So that'll be the ruling of the court. The state's going to draft it the way I ordered it. They're going to send it to you by email. And when you draft it, Mr. Skinner, make sure on their signature lines, it's not form and substance. It's as to form only, so they can acknowledge that's what the court ordered, not that they necessarily agreed with it. And then that preserves their rights, which I think they're preserved anyway, knowing that this was a contested issue. However, make sure that you make that distinction in the signature lines. So when you get it, you can read it. You can see if it says what I say it's supposed to say. You can sign off of it. You're not held to it. You just acknowledge that's what I ordered. And then if you have a chance, please review it as quick as possible. Send it back in, sign it electronically, send it back in. If you don't do that within a week, by next Wednesday, I ask the state to turn in the order without your signature on Thursday. It goes fast. We got a lot of cases. I don't want to be behind hundreds or thousands of orders waiting on people to sign them. So I'm rendering the order in open court under oath. And so you know what I said. So it comes in by paper. Now you sign the paper, you don't sign the paper. I'll sign the paper afterwards, whichever case the case may be. But it gives you 1 week. You can use the weekend if you want. Send it in Monday if you get it today or tomorrow, but not much later than that, please. If you get it and sign it, I get it quicker. It moves quicker. If you don't, you don't. I'll get it when the state has given that 1 week time period to elapse. Then one of you or both of you may be unhappy with my ruling, so maybe you both find yourselves in higher court. You have the right to appeal this associate judge's decision by filing a written notice of appeal. It's got to be in writing. You got to say what error was made. You got to say what you're appealing that you didn't agree with, whatever. And I'm sure it's the gross monthly amount if you go that way. So you have to put it in writing. You have to file it with the district clerk's office. You have to send a copy to the AG for sure and the other parent as part of this case. Once you send it, you file it and you send it out, you call the district clerk's office and you ask them for a court setting. You can't sit there and wait for them to call you to give you a court date. That's not the way it works. You have to be your own lawyer. You have to get a court date within 30 days in front of a district judge, within 30 days of the filing of your appeal, so they can put it on the district judge's calendar, and then you go and fight it all over again with another judge at a higher level. And whatever happens there. This is a final order unless and until another court overrules me or approves it, whatever. So I think I've done my job. If you want to go appeal, you can do that. I'm going to ask the state also to put as an attachment to this order a notice of de novo rights of appeal. So you have it in writing roughly what you need to do or where you can find the section in the family code to refer to, or you go get a lawyer if you want to, but it goes really fast. The 3 business days in which to file the notice of appeal comes after you get the signed copy from the court. So you're going to get it, doesn't have my signature on it. You're going to send it back. You still don't have it back. Once I sign it, I think DocuSign sends you an automatic copy with my signature on it. That's when your 3 days start running. So it's fast. So be prepared for that, or be prepared to be quick on it. Or if you aren't timely or don't get it done, then your appeal rights are out the window. Okay, I think I've said everything I can say about this case. And now, any questions, Mr. Howard?
No, ma'am.
Any questions, Ms. Koenig?
No, ma'am.
And thank you for your cooperation here today. Good luck to you. All you have to do is priority homework. Anything coming from the Texas office of the Attorney General on your emails, please start looking as soon as 5 o'clock, maybe tomorrow. I have no idea how quickly Mr. Skinner can get it out, but surely not much after tomorrow, Mr. Skinner.
Should be this afternoon, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I can't guarantee anything since I'm not drafting it. So thank you, Mr. Skinner.
What costs you said you waived?
Yeah, I'm waiving them.
Okay, thank you.
On non-disclosure, correct. Okay, then thank you, folks. Good luck to you, and we'll see you in another 3 years, probably.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What cost it was no non-disclosure?
I think they already know everybody's.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I have in my notes, and then
That's what I was.
yeah. All right, great. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All I need you to do is you all click the end meeting buttons. Once you're out of my court, I can stop my recordings.
Okay.
I will go ahead, head on out. I'm not sure. I think there's one case still being worked out that may need a hearing. It may not. I'm not sure what the current status of it is.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Skinner. Mr. Howard, you're done. You can leave now. We're going to talk other business.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.